Got a lot of feedback on my last video, and I thought, well, you know what? Let's discuss keystones. So, um, first things first, let's look at talents. For a BM hunter, the main difference you'll see here is just using volley. Most keystone fixes will need volley more than murder of crows, just because of you have to deal with ads a lot, more than one target. With that said, murder of crows can be sometimes better on tyrannical weeks where bosses have are more difficult. Yeah, fortified weeks, volley is always the way to go. But yeah, so this is the main talent setup here. Basically as normal. What else? Yeah, so that's your talents, gear. Now, you can run pretty much, your standard Sephu's ring, your best legendary practically. You can run boots, you can run belt. For higher keys, such as, let's say, 17 or higher, it might be useful to run a Pride as, just because it helps out on heals. Bosses do or bosses ads do have big abilities where they can probably one-shot you if you don't have a defensive up. Yeah. So that's the basics. That's the gear. Same as always. Crit and haste, your best secondary stats. You basically, yeah, do that. So, talking about abilities here. So, because you're dealing with a lot of targets, more than one, you want to be focusing on AoE. So basically, if it was me, I use multi-shot if there's 3 or more targets, always. I use it once to get the Beast Cleave up. So Beast Cleave, after you multi-shot, your pet's attacks strike other targets for 100% of as much as whatever. Anyway, it does that. So I do that every, if there's three or more targets, always multi-shot. However, I will always prioritize kill command. I will always spam kill command if it's a single target or multi-target. Same thing with Dire Beast, I'll always prioritize it. Yeah, so kill command, Dire Beast, always prioritize it. If there's 3 or more targets, multi-shot after that. Single target, obviously, if you need to focus a certain mob down, Cobra shot. Especially on bolstering weeks. Bolstering fortified. I think we're on bolstering fortified this week, aren't we? Yeah. No. Yeah, we are. Yep. Yeah. So that's everything too. As usual, rotate your cooldowns. What I like to do, especially in high mythic keystones, if you have the gold, just use your prolonged potions of power. Use them every trash pack or every minute, because you deal that more DPS. And if they're cheap on your server, I think on my server, like it says there, 24 gold, 29. You can make them yourself. You can buy the mats with Blood of Sagaris if you still have them, or just buy them off the auction house and use them all the time to keep up that DPS. Use your cooldowns on every single trash pack. There's no need to hold back a 2-minute cooldown and a 30-minute key. You can use it 15 times instead of like 4 times once each boss. So that's that. One important thing that comes into mind with keystones, CC. That's another great thing about Sephu's. When you use a frost trap. I love frost traps, right? They're pretty good. So, for instance, if you're on Irishara and you're at the first boss there with the that summons the 2 blokes, the Sea Naga Witch and the Naga bloke. Usually you want to trap the Sea Witch depending, just so she can't get heals off. But yeah, freezing trap, not frost trap. Yeah, so that's always a great ability to use. But yeah, you don't need a CC all the time. It's just, certain things. Tar Trap, I like to use it a lot, especially on Necrotic weeks when tanks have to run away with Necrotic stacks. Tar Trap is very, very, very useful. I use it a lot. But your most important trap of all, okay? you want to use it off cooldown, but you also want to use it smartly too. You don't want to, you know, if you're about to pull those imps in COS, you want to save, binding shot for them, so binding shot, your best trap, your best, best cooldown you have, and especially, binding shot with Cephus gives you the proc to stun. Everyone loves stuns. Yeah. Now, another important ability to worry about in Keystones is well, you got acceleration, so use that to help you out your healers if you're low, but total. Now, I mostly use it for when I'm about to take damage or when I just want to have like a hot running on myself if I know I'm not going to take damage within the next few seconds. But aspect of the total is really good for boss fights, such as the first boss at Blackrock Hold. When he does that big, when the ghosts come out and he's about to do that big AoE, pop it just before that so you don't die. Because otherwise, if you're on a 17 plus Blackrock Hold, you're going to die. Another fight I can actually think of where what aspect of total saves your life is the last boss of Dark Heart Thicket, right? At 50%, he'll do this big AoE. So at 50%, I'd pop aspect of the total. In a few seconds after that, he'll actually do his cast. Good time to use it there too. But yeah, pretty much the big difference between going from like your single target fights in Tomb of Sargeras where you are just used to Cobra shotting as your filler, pretty much 3 ads up, multi-shot. If there's just 2 ads, I mean still Cobra Shot's gonna be better because if, on the bottom right hand side here, 90,000 damage, so that's times 2, that's 180. Not including Bleach Cleave, and that's 472. But that's just me. Another thing too is in my last video, I wasn't wearing 2-piece because I was actually just trying some stuff out. I was something better without 2-piece. But if you can, and it's I think it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks out from Antorus, I'd still try to get 2-piece. It's just really nice. Doesn't matter what pieces you get either. It used to be that your 4-piece, right, was you'd get 4 pieces of Tomb, and then your 2-piece from Nighthawk was your gloves and your gloves and your legs, just because the Tier 19 versions of that, they had really good stats. But you can go cloak and shoulders if they sim better. I might do a something video at some point, but just focus on Keystones really. Pride has really good neck. Pretty much, as long as you have post haste, which is amazing to get out of dispels. Boss that comes to mind, first boss of Quarter Stars. When you have to jump up and stuff. Well, when you get that debuff, if you just press disengage with post haste, you avoid the mechanic completely because it gets rid of it dispels the movement impairing thing. So you just keep on DPSing. Oh, you don't have to jump. Yeah. Another important thing too. So just basic stuff. Your pets. You want to make sure your pets, you either have a heroism pet if you don't have a heroism person in your group, like a shaman or a mage. If you do have one of them people, or another hunter that is running with a heroism pet, run your battle res pet because that can save healers' lives sometime, or that few seconds of someone having to not run back. Those are the big things. One last big thing too. If you want like 915 gear, plus 10s, so plus 10 chests give 915 gear out of the box, right? At the end of the dungeon. So if you're looking to do plus 10 or higher keystones at the end of the week, or if you're just farming, you're just farming it, and you're trying to get into groups, one of my biggest things I would say is look up Raider.io. So Raider. It's a great website, made by a Mythic Plus team. They track your score. So basically, if you do, plus 10 on every key, you'll have a score roughly, and it'll help you get into groups easier, especially if you are if you're a lower item level, like a 925 or 930. It will show that oh, this person has 1500 score. Oh, he's done a key on every instance. We'll take him, kind of thing. if you're pugging. That's what I've been doing lately. Just been doing keystones over and over again, just to get score. So that's rated.io. I use an add-on called the rated.io add-on or something. So I can hover over these people and I can see like, oh, that person's score is 566. It's a lot like gear score from Wrath, really. But yeah, some people have higher than me. Yeah. Anyway, that's basically it. I'm just trying to think. Pretty much YouTube pre-pots all the time. This is more of a rambling video, but I'm going to try and get better at my videos. Because, I would like to help out the community a little bit. I have fair good understanding with BM Hunters at least, and some other mechanics in the game, so feel free to drop a comment or suggestion on this video, and I'll try and make a video for it if you'd like. It doesn't have to be Hunter specific. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.